And we are back with another BWNC podcast. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, a.k.a. Ben Real vs. World, here with my co-host, David Malave. Today's episode, we will be talking about the art of landing a job. We're going to dive into a few different things, but we'll get to that right after this motherfucking intro. Welcome to the Morning Roast, a place where you will get the most info from a deep dive into the topics that really need life with your hosts, Ben and Dave, coming to you live today. Grab your cup of joe and take some fucking notes, you bitch. All right, so the art of landing a job. We came up with this title because I got a direct message on my Instagram account the other day. I get these all the time, actually, but this is just one that I copy and pasted because I knew we would talk about it at some point. The person messaged me and said, "Any opportunities for me, fam?" Question mark. Who are you? So that made us think of like, all right, yo, there is a real approach to landing a job when you're reaching out to potential clients or collaborators, whatever you want to say. So we figured in this episode, we kind of discuss a few things, specifically the appropriate way to communicate to a potential client via in real life or in an email or in a direct message like my homie did right here. By the way, that's not the best way to do it. How to show value to people you want to connect with, parlaying one gig into more than one, finding a way to multi-purpose a gig and utilize that to book more jobs out of it or whatever. A ton of stuff. We're going to cover a bunch of shit in it. But I specifically love these messages because it's like, you know, what was his goal?
Right.
Like, what do you expect to happen? Any opportunities for me, fam?
Oh, yeah, for sure. How about this?
Cool.
Here you go.
Oh, I have $100,000. I need to give it to someone, and I have an opportunity for you. Here's your money. Good job. You earned it.
Thanks.
That's cool. Very good. Just like and subscribe. Like, what the fuck? People send me shit like that all the time. I just had the other one that's famous. It's like, watch this video. Why? What the fuck? Like, it blows my mind how people don't understand to kind of address their needs with who they are, what they do, and how they can add value to you. Because why would I have an opportunity for some random stranger that I don't know or understand what you do? Like, he would have been a little bit better off by just sharing a link to something that they do and then ask, do you have opportunities for me? Because here's stuff I do. That's 10 times better at least. And I hate those messages, but that's even better than just this.
Yeah, that's not good either, but it's still better.
It's better. It's right. Not good at all. Don't do that. Like, right. Like I think there's a reason why we were all taught how to make resumes in high school and college or wherever. Like, the idea of kind of showcasing who you are as a person, what you did. Right,
and cover letters too. And cover letters essentially like your little elevator pitch. Yeah. Right, and like there's a whole, you know, when you're writing a cover letter to a actual corporate company, there's a way that's done, right? You know?
So in this situation, it's like, any opportunities for me, fam? And even if I were to like be like, I'm curious,
right? I
click on his cover letter, which is his Instagram, the last 12 posts on his feed, whatever his feed looks like. And then right away, you probably see like a bunch of fucking random memes or like some naked Instagram model girl or something that just has nothing to do with anything I do. And I have no idea what you do. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is this person? Or your bio is just like, bookings, $100 an hour. And I'm just like, right. How is this supposed to work?
I think another thing this got me thinking for a second too is like, one way I've always thought about it is like, you have to eliminate what the other person has to say to get more information, right? So if he's saying any opportunities for your fam and you already got to ask this dude, well, what do you do? What's your name? Where are you from? Right. Where do you live? All that stuff, you're not going to do it.
No.
So like with that first reach out, it's like you want to give them everything they need to know so that all they have to do is either like engage with you or not answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like just by asking off top, it's like now you got to do work to figure out if he's worth it versus handing it all to you, like, here, this is what I do, this is what I'm able to provide for you, this is where I live, blah 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 blah, all this shit.
You just have to think outside of the box, and I think that comes to any aspect of it, not just Instagram DMing people, but you know, finding creative ways to earn a client, finding a way to get their attention, to understand what you're capable of doing for them and how you could perform that task for them by showing examples, doing all these things, like, you know, what we talk about with like decks and demos and shit like that. It's like finding ways to open their mind to needing you, because I don't know how many times people have asked me like, hey, I'm in town, I have my camera, I would love to shoot for you. And I'm like, you know, I don't really fucking know like what I need shot of me. Like, I sit in an office right now. I'm not on set. I don't need you. But when someone comes to me like, hey, I would love to like shoot your merch, and I have an idea of how I could do it, and if you'd be the model, that'd be cool, or if you could just give us the merch and I could get a model, that'd be sick, and here's some ideas. I'm like, oh shit, yo, that would actually be mad helpful. That would be helpful for me and my brand of what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So it's like, by doing stuff like that, you're provoking a new idea for the person you're contacting who isn't thinking about you. They don't know you. They don't need to know you. There's no reason for them to know who you are, what you're capable of. Like, we all experienced that. I didn't know you and what your value was or how creative you were before you met me, you know what I mean? Or before I met you. So I had to figure it out by process of you showing me. You would show me, hey, what about this idea for Black Window Cream? But that wasn't your job or part of it. You're just like, hey, sidebar this. And I'm like, yo, that's a great idea. And then it just kept happening.
But also just make it and show it.
Make examples.
Like, I'm not, it's part of it. And that's another thing too, is like, I feel like that's really where you win in this type of shit, is like, if you can create a fully formed idea, or like a fully formed idea, or you made something, like if you went out of your way to make something and said, here it is,
right.
Like, you've already shown them the value right there. Like, you went out of your way. You're not like asking permission or waiting for like the okay, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's cool too. It's like, when your example with even, with people trying to meet up with you before a show, or here in LA when you're not doing anything, it's like, if you do have an idea of, hey, we could do this, and I know this spot where we could go, and we could put the merch there, and that would be tight, and I already know the person, and they have a car we could borrow, or whatever it is,
makes life easier.
Then all you have to do is be like, yeah, that's a dope idea, let's do it, and that's it. Versus like this whole, can I do something for you? It's like, well, we don't. It's even like we're on tour, you know, and people are like, hey, you're in my city, like, can we meet up?
Can we link? And I'm like, why? What do I have a million things to do? Why do I need to link up with you? I appreciate it, and I love that you like fuck with me or whatever.
Right, and it's not even like, a negative in the sense of like, no, we don't want to meet up. We're just sitting around like.
Everyone wants to know what's something gonna do for them. Like, you're not leaving your house at all. Just like, what can I do for everyone else? Like, most of the time you're like, how can I progress myself in what I do, whatever I care about, right? And it's like, you know, in that case, it's like if we're on tour, or if you're traveling, if you're working for a job remote and someone finds out you're in the city that they live in, and they reach out to say like, I would love to pick your brain. Yeah, but I'm here for work, so I'm pretty busy. Like, I don't know if I have enough time to like let you pick my brain or go grab a dinner with you or a coffee or whatever. But they might not even suggest that, right? I'm suggesting things that I could think of that we could do together because you reached out like, hey, can we connect? I'm like, connect? Fuck, like what would be not that awkward because I don't know this person. Coffee maybe? But if you hit me and like, hey, I know you love coffee. I have a fire ass spot to go. I would love to buy you a cup of coffee and pick your brain for a second and take you out to shoot some shit in the city, or introduce you to a local blah, blah, blah here that may parlay with like what you do. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like that's a lot of people want to say pick your brain, and I almost hate that. Like, I never like doing that in the sense of, because if you have a relationship with someone, like if you already made a relationship, you're already showing value to that person, I think you've shown them value. Now you can ask, hey, like, would you mind meeting with me, right? But it's just to reach out with someone and say, can I pick your brain, without even offering anything or showing value, or of like giving them something, because picking your brain is just taking, in the sense like you don't get anything from me picking your brain, really. You have to give me your energy, because totally. I'm learning from you. I'm
helping you.
You're helping me out. But so like, it's not easy for someone to sit down and be like, yeah, I'll let you pick my brain. Like, people are nice and they'll do it, but if you're trying to get a very, very busy person or someone you look up to just give you the time of day, it's like you're gonna pick their brain in the process of shooting BTS for them, in the process of
step back from the mic just a little bit. I think it's like, I don't know why it's popping so much today. Sorry.
In the process of doing something for them, showing them value, doing something that's gonna help them out, then that makes value sense to you comes back to you.
And I also think like, you put someone in a weird spot because, you know, we don't want to. I'm getting hit up all the time. I'm in LA. I'm like, it's not my fault. I live in a city that everyone goes to very easily. Like, fuck. Like, that's like, if I have to make time for every person I asked if we could link up for coffee or whatever, like, I have no time to do life. You know what I mean? Because that happens too much. And then I feel bad telling you no. Sorry, like, I can't let you pick my brain today because I have a fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. But some people have found creative ways to like make it intriguing. Like, hey, I know this person and I would love to loop you in with them. Like, if we could ever link up for a coffee, I'd love to discuss it more. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, you just found a way to like intrigue me. Like, oh, you're friends with someone at CBN, NBC or some shit, and you know what I mean? Like I don't know, whatever it is, some people have found creative ways to do it, but I think it's just your approach has to be strategic in understanding that most of the people we look up to are a million times busier than we are, because we look up to them because we want to be like them. We want to do what they've done. We want to be, you know, in that same lane at some point in time. We're just not there yet, right? So me trying to see if I can pick Kanye's brain tomorrow, it doesn't make sense for me to ask Kanye if I can pick his brain tomorrow because it's Kanye's brain. We already know how that shit works. So for him to facilitate a 30-minute meeting would be him bending over very far backwards. And what does it mean for him? You know what I mean? If he doesn't know who I am, hey, yeah, love you, bro. Can I meet up with you sometime and just pick your brain? I'll buy you a coffee. I can't afford the coffee Kanye likes. You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna?
Outlandish example.
Super outlandish. But I'm just saying, to me, that's a person that I could say I look up to creatively, right? Like Kanye is very creative, and I would, if I could have a moment with him, it would mean the world to me, right? Mm-hmm. But I know better than DMing Kanye or asking someone that I know that knows Kanye if I could go get that 30 minutes with him to pick his brain, because I have nothing to offer this dude, right? Like I have nothing to really bring to him that would make sense for it. So I'd have to think outside the box to be able to figure out how to strategically get in there and provide value. Maybe it's like brand content for Yeezys or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? You just have to think outside the box. But that goes back to
I think let's just transition into like what we actually wrote out for the topics.
Yeah, I know. I like using your example. When we were at Coachella, and I know you've done this a few times, we were at Coachella for the Beyonce shit, and you were there. And so, was that your first time going, like, with a media pass, like, to be able to shoot? Or I guess you didn't really have one because we were working for her, but it still counts as like a media pass, basically.
No, that one was tight because we had an artist band.
Oh yeah, so we could go anywhere.
We could go anywhere.
Yeah, so we were there with her, right? But we weren't there really shooting content outside of her show. And Dave thought, I know artists that are, you know, EDM artists, whatever, I'm going to attack them. And you approach them, you hit up all these people that you may have a connection to or reached out to just to see, hey, I'm here, I already have a pass, like I don't need anything from you.
Exactly.
Would love to shoot for you.
Right.
And then how'd that work out for you? Because it worked.
Yeah, well, that I love that part of it. And we were talking about it too because we're going to the festival this weekend. Mm. And it's like the things that are limiting you from getting the opportunity, if you can like bypass those, then you're already winning, in the sense of like, okay, cool. If I was going to shoot for AC Slater at Coachella, right, and I live in Texas, they got to fly me out and they got to put me in a hotel. And they got to go to the thing. They got to sign me up for a pass. They got to do all these things, right?
And probably pay for a rate.
Right, and pay for a rate. When this part, it was like, I'm already here. I got the pass. Camera's gear is locked. I'm doing nothing today.
Right.
And in that case, I had already shot for the artist, so it was like, they know that we already made the relationship. But even if it wasn't, it's like, I'm here. Would love to shoot content for you. I'm free, available this time. I have all my camera gear. I would need nothing besides, stage access.
Wristband or whatever the fuck.
Stage access, so the guy lets me up there.
Right.
Here's a link to my photo portfolio, and then that's it. And you fire that off to like 10 people.
Right. You know and that strategy took like, all right, you're there already, and you had the bonus of getting the artist pass, right? So people were listening probably like, I don't fucking get artist passes. Totally, I fuck with that. This kid Dylan that we just did the vlog that just dropped on our YouTube channel or whatever, the one where we went to Portland, Dylan reached out to me there and came and shot a bunch of footage for Dutch Bros. Randomly just hit me up, and I was like, yeah, if you shoot some shit, we might use it. Like, he's like, I'm here, I'm down to shoot. It's the same theory, right? He messaged me, happened to see it. Yo, I live in Portland. It's not an obnoxious amount of people in Portland that are hitting me up asking me to shoot shit. He's just like, can I do it? Like, can I come fuck with you somehow? I'll help in any way possible. And I'm like, to Dave, I'm like, damn, do we want to entertain another person? Like, it's another thing to think about. Do we do this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck it. Let's just, get him in here. We get him access to this thing and let him shoot shit. And if it's cool, we'll use some of it. And we did, and he killed it. And while talking to him, he was a dope dude, whatever. So we built a relationship, and we were able to chop it up, and he could pick my brain that way because he found a way in. But he got access to shoot artists that night, and he hadn't really shot artists before, but he used that as a gateway to get in, provided something, said, I'm down to shoot this shit. You can use it for your YouTube channel. Cool. We need that content. And then in return, he gets access to shoot dope shit. And then he just also hit me about Life is Beautiful Festival, which we're going to. And he's like, yo, I'm going to be there. And I'm working really hard to contact different people to get a pass to be able to shoot. And I was like, yo, hit up all the bottom of the barrel people. Like, you need the artist band.
The people at 4 p.m.
Hit the people at 2.
Hit like those people up.
No one has, like, they're probably not thinking of content. Like, they're playing to nobody. So go make them look like superstars on this massive stage. Next. And that's the key, you know? So that's now his approach. It's like, all right, I'm going to hit all these people and see how
you can't get Chance the Rapper, but you can get, you know, Weathen at 7 p.m. maybe.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, you won't get him, but like anyone else, you know what I mean? And then you're inside. If you're inside, then who knows what happens? You could get into the pit. You could shoot from outside. You could get a long lens, like whatever it is. I think we're getting off the topic, but I feel like the real key there is not even the artist pass or anything. It's like in that case with Dylan, you know, it was right place, right time. We're just like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Like that.
But it's because he offered us something.
But you offered us, hey, I will come shoot for you, and he's not like, can you pay me or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or he just say, can you put me on?
Right.
Any opportunities for me, fam?
I want to read. I want to read a DM I sent to someone a while back to offer value.
I hope it's good. I hope
I wouldn't read it. So
I wouldn't read it if it was trash.
Well, but this is my take on DMs and DMing someone, but then trying to show them, like, offer them value and articulate that in a way where it's like, I want to help you,
right?
You know, and then in case hopefully land a job with them, right?
Totally.
So the first paragraph I won't say because I mentioned their name, but it's like, hey, so and so, hope you're doing well. Really excited to see what you got in the works. Just wanted to reach out and offer my help in any capacity on anything you might need, either personally or for your upcoming projects. I just moved to LA and would love to get the opportunity to get involved. If you ever need any video or photo work, BTS, second shooter, BCam, anything I can do to elevate what you have going on, just want you to know I'm available and would love to work with you. Have a great one, man. Mm-hmm. And I got a response right away.
Right.
And I feel like and that's not to brag on what I said. I think the importance, and I've used this technique so many times, and it's like, even with artists or with brands or with anything, it's like you have to tell them all the things. Why am I valuable to you? I could shoot video for you. I could do photo for you. I could do BTS. I can do second shooter.
You said my name is this. I live where you are. I do all of these things. If you need me, I'm readily available. Cool. Like, you literally just did the who, what, when, where, why. Like, right. I don't have to think about that. And now I know. I think the challenging part now is, like, if I'm said artist or whoever the fuck you talk to, if I'm that person, it's like, what's another creative way that, because, like, I get those DMs all the time too, and people do think like you, right? And they do it. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I have the opportunity to, like, follow you back or whatever, which I don't, because it's not like I'm trying to follow a bunch of random people I don't know. Yeah. So I could do that, and that would make me at least keep you in my loop. But most likely your shit gets lost amongst everyone else. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if, like, the next move would be like, if I did respond, be like, hey, that sounds cool. Like, your stuff's good. I looked at your Instagram. It looks fire. Whatever. Blah blah blah. That's like your opportunity to be like, oh, cool. Is there a way I could email you just so it's a little easier to find me in the future if you're ever looking for someone that does whatever it is? Great. And then that way your subject is Dave, BTS, blah, blah, blah. Anything that they could ever keyword search real quick. Because that's sometimes I'll go there and I'll be like, who hit me up for graphic design? I don't fucking know who. Oh, someone emailed me before, graphic design. And then it'll be like 60 things and I'll remember how it looked. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And that's a strategy.
That's a great strategy.
That's like thinking outside of the box.
And that's how you get another connect too, because you get like a more professional connection. You went DM route, right? I prefer to go email route a lot of the time because it's a more formal way of speaking. You know what I mean?
And people use it. Yeah, like, people, in the industry, people use email. Right.
It's like usually the correct channel, so you usually get the more direct venue and to response. Like getting to where you want to go, right? Yeah. Talking to the right person. But that's a great way to, like, now you have this person's real contact that's not DM, that's not flooded with all the other bullshit. Mm-hmm. You got the real people, you know? Yeah. And it's like, and I think another thing too is like, yeah, I may get lost, but I think another thing is besides that is maybe 2 months you haven't hit me, but it's like, hey Ben, just wanted to check in. You know, would still love to work with you, still available whenever you need me, blah, blah. And then it might be the situation with Dylan where you're like, oh, actually today I'm going to shoot for EA. Would you like to come shoot BTS for me? Right. And you're like, yeah. You know what I mean?
And it's also cool because you can do, like, you can play off of certain things. Like if you know if something's coming up that person's a part of. Exactly. You play off the tentpole move where, and sometimes it might just be like, hey man, it's holidays. Like, I really appreciate you giving me a chance to talk to you. I hope you have a great holiday. Again, if you ever need anything, I'm always around. just keeping it chill, and you never know where that leads into like, oh, actually, I was just looking for this. I don't know how many times someone like Richie Films, part of Black with No Cream, right? Mm-hmm. He had hit me up randomly at the right time when Andrew literally just texted me, do you know anyone that could do BTS tonight? And I'm like, fuck, who do I know? And I'm like chilling on Instagram, and I look, and all of a sudden I have a DM that's just like, hey, my name's Richie, I blah, 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 blah. This is what I do. Send me his work. And I'm like, oh shit, yo, could you shoot something tonight? And I passed it over, and he had a job, and now he's worked with Andrew on a million things doing BTS, and he's killing it, right? So it's like, you never know how, you know, the follow-ups or just staying in touch can add. So many people get jobs from that shit, where it's just checking in, like, and then this happens, and then boom, you have a job, right?
Exactly. And I think the most important part there too is just the first, it's that first handout you give, or like the first impression of yourself, the first message you send.
Right.
That changes everything. Because if that's correct, then you've left that very first impression you made on this person or this client is positive.
Right.
They might not act out it immediately, but you get them with the sentiment of like, okay, or they hit you back, oh, thanks so much for reaching out. Because I remember when I used to reach out to artists, I would send 10 of these emails out weekly, every single week, boom, 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 as many people as possible, because it's just arrows, you know, just like which one will hit. And and a lot of people will email, oh, thanks so much, I really appreciate it. We actually have someone, but you know, we'll keep in touch or whatever. Right. But I have that now. I have this person's email. You know what I mean? If another opportunity happens and I reach out to them again, they're like, oh, you know what? This guy emailed me last time. And and I remember. And also the next time you email them, you might have done more work. And so you say like, here's an updated, like, here's a video that I just did. Or here's, you know, my portfolio has changed since last time. I've done this, this, and this. And you keep going like that.
Yeah. Like my homie, Ryan Postis, I remember when he bought his Red, he's a DP and stuff, so he had been renting for so long, and a lot of the keys for when you're doing a production, a lot of people like to hire DPs that have their own gear, so it saves them on some money. So a way he presented to his clients was sending out an email blast that said, hey guys, just want to let you guys know about the new purchase I made. I got this red helium or whatever the fuck he had, and he's like, here's a couple of things I shot. He went and shot a short film just to show the quality and the look of what he's capable of doing, and he's like, directed and DP by me, so people could like see like a new piece, like, oh wow, this shit looks crazy, and he's attached to that, and he can say, here's my rates and blah 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 blah, and he sends it out to clients and producers and anyone he could think of that may need someone in the future, and that locked him in the deal. Another thing that I wanted to point out too, I just had this happen to me, and I just think this is kind of like a poor way of attempting it, is just another way someone tried to reach out to me to connect. I had made a post in Black with No Cream about like an upcoming podcast interview or whatever. Like, hey, if you want to ask questions, join Patreon. And the dude hit me back and he's like, hey, Ben, please, pretty please accept my friend request and read my DM. We might just change the media industry. And I'm like, just ask me whatever you want on the group, because you're talking on a post that has nothing to do with what you're asking. You didn't respond to what I was talking about, so you're just kind of like, it's like interrupting a conversation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is rude. And so I just said, if you're going to want to do it, ask in the group. And then he's like, I have a concept I want to run by you. Is there any email address I can use? And so it's like right away you're just like, I have a concept I want to, but you're not really hinting at what it is, and you're just trying to, you're already doing this wrong.
Yeah, like, I think the most important part of that is like the channel, like the way you communicate matters everything, right? It's like, you're not gonna, you have to know who you're talking to. If you're talking to someone that you could maybe message on Facebook backdoor and get their attention, and that would work, cool. But some people, you got to hit them in the email that you're supposed to hit them at,
right.
Or you know what I mean? Like the comment of a photo of you and your nephew,
yeah,
is not the place to try to pitch you a concept, right. Because you're not there to be talking to that person, right? Versus, is a DM the way, or is it another email? You know what I mean? I think that's important. It's like,
well, and it's also just like, you know, the whole point of the Facebook group is that I wanted everyone to talk openly. I've always said that. Like, if someone's like, hey man, can I message you and ask you a question? I'm like, please just ask me this in the group, because if I'm going to give the time to answer it, I would love other people to benefit from this as well. So if you're talking about something that's like, you have to understand what my message and intention of this group was in the front, and then you're trying to make me take something sidebar, and it's also, you're not prefacing like what the fuck like you want to change the media. What are you talking about? Like, you're going to change the culture of, you have some genius thing that's going to,
it's just like a hook.
Yeah, so you're trying to say something cool that I was just already know is not possible, because if it would have been done, it would have been done already.
Right.
But I also think this goes back to like, so there's that example of you and your approach on festivals, which I think is great. And then the other thing I was going to refer to was when I love talking about this because I think I was struggling with the strategy when I was doing the Google shit back in the day, and I use this a lot to like guerrilla market myself, right, to an extent, but also just for people to understand who the fuck it was. And I thought, all right, I got this job. I can do photography for these companies. I'm gonna just email them and tell them like my whole spiel in a dope paragraph and write all these cool things, and then send it, and just fingers fucking crossed that they like it enough to even hit like reply and then pay me, you know what I mean? So I'd send out all these emails, no responses back, just like nobody. Oh, hey, this sounds cool, yeah, this is dope. And then it was just kind of that. And then I was like, all right, so I had to step back and think like, what is my competition doing that I'm not doing? Or what are we all doing that's the same, and what are they not doing? So I would be like, all right, at the most, they're all doing the same exact thing, sending emails, bugging the fuck out of these people that are getting the same type of shit, and they're cold calling people. And then I'm like, well, what if I go in? Cool, that's one way to do it. So I started going in and introducing myself. Hey, I'm Ben, blah, 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 which is the best thing I could possibly do. And then on top of that, I was like, well, what's a good way to like leave a high impact on them? And it was showing them a case study about them. Hey, here's you. And here's like your statistics of how you're doing, and here's things that you're missing and how you could be doing if you had it. And this is what I do. So if you are interested in going from A to B, call C, because I'm your guy. You know what I mean? Like I'll take it there. And I would make those. I would literally print them on custom. You know what I mean? And make sheets that were one sheets just about that company. I took all this time to do it, and they might be like, "Oh, cool, thanks," and throw it away. But at least they had that, and there's an impact value there where I went above and beyond just someone that pulled in with their fucking business card. I was just like, hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to drop this off here. If you guys are interested, I do marketing. And it's like, you see that all the time. Like people come in. Have you ever been to like a restaurant or any business where you're sitting there and some person just walks in real quick and says,
I just want the manager. That's for the
manager.
No.
They don't even do that. I just want to drop off my resume. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll take it. And they give it to a hostess.
Oh yeah.
And I think like, what the fuck is the strategy behind that? Like you just came in looking in your gym clothes to try to get a job at a restaurant or at a wherever, and you're not thinking of the perception on their end of who you are. Like you have to think, how are they going to receive this message? I'm coming in with my this. Here's a resume I printed out in full color, blah, blah, blah. There's examples of what I do, and I would love to meet the manager. Can I come back tonight to meet the manager to hand him my resume personally? I would love to thank him for taking the time to consider me. That shit alone right there is fucking lit. Like I'll be like, yeah, man, you're a professional, cool. And the hostess doesn't give a fuck either way. Yeah, Jared will be here at fucking 6 anyway.
She's waiting to get off at 5.
Yeah, she wants to get out, and she's texting her boyfriend. She don't care, or the guy, whoever it is. But it's like they're just gonna say, yeah, sure, here's the info you needed. Come and get it. You know what I mean? So if someone wanted to get to me, they should know I'm with you all the time and find creative ways to like get us both involved to talk about this person, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I haven't been able to get Ben on Facebook messages because no one fucking looks at the ones that come from people that you're not friends with. So maybe I should think outside the box and like find strategies that way to get a hold of people. But I just think that's finding alternative ways to communicate to who you're trying to work for or connect with, or make a client or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think
super key.
And part of that, your example is like what we talk about in the guide too. It's like this: you want to have a job for someone. You have to articulate to them how is working with you going to translate to results for them. What does this person want? A restaurant wants more money. They want more revenue, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to make them more revenue?
Right.
If you're talking about an artist, or if you're trying to do music videos, or if you're trying to shoot for an artist or whatever, they want to connect with their fans, or they want more views on their content, or they want to promote an album, or they want to promote a single, or they want to promote their merch, or whatever. They have on tour and they want to sell more tickets. You have to think like that, because when you think like that, you can speak to them in a way that they understand. Oh, okay, we're gonna pay this person $500, but they're gonna give us XYZ content that is gonna help us post about our album, post about our tour, or this brand, we're sponsoring this event, and he's going to make us 6 to 7 Instagram stories that we can use to share with our following about this event that was going on. You know what I mean? Or they have an idea.
Within 6 hours of you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, and if you can speak like that, because I feel like that's how you get from just like, hi, I'm a videographer, photographer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a whatever, and I would love to work for you, blah, blah, blah.
Let me know if you have availability.
Yeah. This is what I'm versus this is what I do, and this is what I can do for you, and this is how it's going to help you, and here's examples of me doing that for other people.
Right.
And, you know, would love to work with you, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. I agree. It's interesting, like thinking, going back to the restaurant thing, it's like, if I was a manager or owner of a restaurant, right, and you were a person that was trying to apply to become a waiter, right, it would be very intriguing to me to be interested in hiring you if you came in and did what I talked about earlier. You wanted to shake my hand and present it and let me know a little bit about you in an elevator pitch setting or whatever. But then if you put me on the spot, right, just imagine this and how this would go over for me. If you were like, I've never been a server, but I'm really good with people, and I talk to people every day, and I really pride myself on being a joy to be around. But here, tell me that your food came back cold. And I'm like, my food came back cold. And then you go into a spiel telling, as if this was a real scenario in that restaurant. I'm so sorry about that. Like, we never like blah, 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 blah. And you say all the right shit that I would want. If I was walking around my restaurant tomorrow and my server said that to someone and I heard them have this, I'd be like, damn, this is what I want. I don't want someone else that isn't thinking like that. That literally you're thinking about how you would respond to a person that for a place that you don't even work for yet. You've already taken the action to do that shit. They're no different in the same way you just said. Like, I'll have this asset for you for this, and you can use this. And here's an example of what it would look like on your Instagram. And here's an example of what it could look like on your Twitter. Like, you're thinking beyond. You're thinking as if you're already. They could take that idea tomorrow and run with it. I could say, I want all my employees to respond like that guy, but I'm not going to fucking hire that guy. I don't care about that guy. I just took his idea, right? And I could say, oh, Dave had a great idea of how we can make our Instagram stories look, but you know what? Let's just do this shit in-house. So what? You lost it, took an L on one client. Fuck it. You know what I mean? But like, going above and beyond and thinking outside of the box and the way you strategize with a potential client is what's going to get you hired. Yeah. Hands down.
I think that's how, if you think like that in every way, I feel like just because of the landscape we're in now, and just because creative kind of leans in this like nonchalant area almost, especially if everyone's just trying to be connecting on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, Facebook, and of course email or whatever. But like, everyone, if you have to think like, everyone is doing what you're doing, everyone wants a job you want, everyone's sending the same email you're sending. You know what I mean? So either your work needs to be levels and levels above everybody else, or you got to start hustling in this type of way, being creative. How are you gonna? And that is an art of landing a job. It's like fine-tuning the way you send messages. I would, like, for me, it's like I would have an email in my notes typed up that was kind of like a template, and I would just be updating that with new shit and just kind of tweaking it. Okay, this worked, they like this, blah blah blah, and keep moving. And when you start knocking all these doors, and you have to learn and adapt and like keep updating what you're doing, you know?
Right. Yeah, I love it. I feel like that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Did 30 minutes. That was a solid ass podcast. Yeah, let us know if you're listening to this, what you think, and if you have any interesting strategies that you use, definitely drop those in the comments. Would love to hear like what you guys are doing to attack your clients. But I think just reminding yourself to think outside the box is the way you win. And hopefully you got that from this. But cool. Thanks for being a Patreon member. We appreciate all you guys. Is there anything else we're updating in Patreon coming up?
What do you mean?
This comes out in the middle of the week. So tomorrow, when you're listening to this, if you listen to it the moment it drops, the next day we'll be doing a live stream.
Right.
We've been trying to figure out the best way to communicate the live streams. I think what we're going to do is start an emailing list for just our Patreon members. So if you guys are into that, please let us know as well in the comments so we can communicate with you guys. We want to try to be able to like talk with you guys a little bit easier and make sure you guys know about certain things going on, because I know some people have Patreon apps, some don't, some people have Discord, some people don't. Like, we're just trying to find the best way so you guys know about everything that's happening, because you guys are contributing to this. So let us know. Other than that, yeah, we'll see you guys next month with another Patreon only. Cool. Peace.